everyone, and welcome to What's Your Meaning, the fun panel show where we talk about weird and whacked out words in the English language that nobody remembers what the meanings are for. Well, probably Julie does, but the rest of us don't. Hi everyone, and with me today are my lovely guests, the wonderful Jenny Morgan. Hi, Jenny.
Hi.
The incredible Julie LaVoice.
Thank you.
The always gracious, godless Granny.
Hello.
And everyone's favourite, Aunt Jo.
Hi.
And for some reason we ended up with an all-female panel, which is absolutely brilliant, because this doesn't happen very often.
So cool.
It is so cool.
No, it doesn't. And I gotta say, I miss my girl time.
It is.
Yeah,
nice.
it is. I don't get to hang out. Yeah, the girls and I haven't gotten to hang out in person because of the whole thing and pandemic thing that we're all living under. So y'all are my girlfriends. You've been keeping me together this whole time. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel the
Glad
same,
to help.
Julie. It's nice to have this. It's nice when we can have panels like this where the guys aren't dominating it. Although, having said that, knowing most of us on panels, we tend to dominate the discussion anyway. So,
But who's going to explain the words to us?
that's very true. That's very.
Cheers. Very good.
All right. Shall we start with
That
our
is fair.
first word, or does does anyone have anything particular they wanted to talk about before we got started? So, anyone got anything special coming up? I know. Yep, Julie.
No.
No.
I'm just speaking for me. I have nothing special coming up.
Oh, okay. I know Granny's working on a new video.
I'm
And
just
she's-
trying to move and not lose my mind.
Yeah, I know that feeling. But I'm back to house hunting again, so we got more time for packing. So, and Granny's got a new video that she's working on and a debate this weekend.
Yes, I have Steve Anderson made a full-length movie. So I did a movie review. And I should have that done very soon. Junk Shop made a small clip for it. So you'll see Junk Shop in there. And that I will have finished sometime tomorrow, release it to my patrons tomorrow, and I'll release it either Saturday or Sunday to the public. And then Sunday, I have a debate on Conspiracy Cat's channel. Boy, that's hard to say. Conspiracy Cat's channel. On trans women in sports.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was going to be slightly different, but I refused. It was going to be a 2-on-2, and Granny and I were going to debate two other people, and the person that they picked as the other debater just wasn't worth it.
Nope.
So I backed out so Granny could do a 1-on-1, which would be a lot better. So.
Jen had a fantastic idea.
To get girls.
Sorry?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What was that, Julie?
Jen,
Oh no, I had this quick flash to a memory from the 80s of just fighting to get even girls teams established at schools because you'd be going to a public school and there was no girls soccer team and the girls weren't allowed to play soccer with the boys, so it's like this is the new fight.
Mhm.
It's not. I'm not saying one is more valid than the other. By the way, I'm just saying it's this is the next.
No,
fight,
I mean the people who argue the
Exactly
whole
what
thing
it
of
is.
trans women in sport miss the point that women's and men's sports weren't segregated for the benefit of women. They were segregated for the benefit of men who didn't want to get beaten by women. No, but that was the actual thing of it.
Funny how that works.
It was an anti-feminist thing. It was push the women out because we can't risk our manhoods by being beaten by women. It wasn't to protect the little women. It was to protect the ego of men.
Yeah, and the propaganda they used was, boys play rough, and we don't want the little girls getting hurt. And it's like, please, I was a little girl.
Well,
You don't have to tell me.
I'm not going to get into it.
One thing we are going to do, though, is
no, it's okay. I'm not saying it's the same, Jenny. I'm not trying to say that.
No, I just don't want to talk about it because this isn't the place for talk about it. That's all.
No. But we only brought it up because Granny's doing the debate.
Sure.
But you were going to talk about the panel as well, weren't you, Granny?
Right. Yeah, we're going to follow it up with a panel discussion, and Jen and Katie Morgan and I are going to be on the panel, and I'm trying to get Stephen Woodward, Rationality Rules, on the panel as
Katie
well.
Montgomery, actually. You just confused.
What did I say?
You mixed Jenny Morgan and Katie Montgomery together.
Oh, I said Katie Morgan?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's a great compliment
so
there for you, Jenny.
I totally I thought of Katie Montgomery.
Does that mean I'm on the panel?
Would you like to be on the panel?
Only if you want me to.
I would love to have you on the panel.
All right.
But anyway, I'm going to let everyone critique my debate. I'm hoping Stephen will critique the argument frame and any fallacies I may have committed, and of course critique the other party as well. My opponent David, and then bring up any points that the two of us missed that we didn't get quite right, and basically fix everything we do wrong in that debate.
There's a lot of things to be discussed on this thing, and actually where it should be for elite sports, which is going to be different to how it is for your social sports, because a lot of people don't get the point of it. Like women were forced out into having our own sport events. But the reason why we still like having them is the social aspect of it. Women having social aspect time with women. And you don't want to lose that. But it's also a good reason why trans inclusion is important. So that's the thing. But that's at the amateur level. When you go to the professional level, it's very different. And there's a lot of sports that are segregated by sex that don't need to be. They really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Is it like golf?
Yeah. Like softball immediately springs to mind, and golf,
bowling.
because like a lot of my friends, male and female, have done bowling,
Ping pong.
co-ed, if you give the term, co-ed, softball teams, because they all just wanted to play ball together.
Yeah,
and none of them had played. They didn't want to play baseball; they wanted to play softball, so they did.
Yeah,
and fast pitch softball, it's freaking scary. I'm no athlete; that stuff is scary. I can't do it. So if you can, more power to you.
It's one of those things, and I think the discussion will be great, and we'll have both sides. Well, not the vocal, we want no trans people to be viewed side, because that's just ridiculous, but the actual intellectual sides of both of it. So it should be a really good discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we kind of agreed that a discussion is actually a better platform than the debate, because
than a debate.
Yeah, because you shouldn't be. I'm sorry. There is definitely discussions to be had around people's rights and where the balance of human rights are between different interest groups. There's definitely a discussion, but debating it in a public forum that's basically going to turn into a shit show is not necessarily the right way to do it, which is why a particular platform was chosen for the debate that Granny's doing, and why I stepped down so it could be a one-on-one, because the other person who was going to be involved would have turned it into a shit show.
Oh, of course, we could drop all of this and be sure not to steal any of Granny's thunder and lightning.
Oh, you're not stealing anything. I haven't started putting my
it.
statement together. Jen's going to help me with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're not stealing her thunder, and Granny and I have talked about this a few times on the streams, because we think this is important. People should watch, and especially watch the panel after. So we're probably going to talk about this for a few weeks until the panel happens and everything, just to try and encourage people to watch and listen and get the full picture, and not the sensationalism that comes through the press, because that's all that is sensationalism. Because talking crap about minorities sells newspapers. Okay, let's move on from the serious stuff and have a bit of fun, because that was the whole idea of this stream.
I do. I have a funny language drift, a linguistic drift icebreaker.
Okay, go for it.
And it's very brief. Yeah, it's just okay. So linguistic drift is simply a term in linguistics for, and my master's is not. It's in English. It's in creative writing. Actually, it's not anywhere near in linguistics. That's smarter than I am. But the term is simply like how words change meaning over time, right?
Yeah.
And just through usage, because language is a living thing.
Yes.
So
it
while
evolves.
yes, words have definitions, they also have and so you guys know the term willy-nilly?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
Like we'll say I don't know, I was just running around willy-nilly trying to get all these things done.
Yep.
Right? That is a great example of linguistic drift, because that's two words that was originally a 4-word phrase. I was showing 8 fingers for a second. No, it's just 4. It was will he or nil he. Oh, I'm sorry. It was a 5-word phrase. I can't count. I don't do math. It was will he or nil he, right? And it meant, will he or won't he. Well, when we say willy-nilly now, we tend to mean confused, or like, I guess a comparable
Haphazard.
phrase would be like running around like a
Unfocused.
chicken with its head cut off.
Random.
Something like that. Unfocused, exactly. Yeah. And in this, but it used to just mean, will he or won't he, in a sense of someone is making a decision and we don't know. And so it's just sort of this very gentle drift. Like the meaning hasn't completely changed, but it's changed a bit. So when you see WILLYNILLY as a phrase, it used to be a lot more words and have a bit of a different meaning, which I find funny because willy-nilly is silly to say. It just sounds silly.
And it brings into the whole thing of us generally compressing language, because as human beings we're fucking lazy. So having to say lots of words is not something we want to do in the middle of a conversation. So we will compress it. I mean, Australians, we're freaking dreadful at it. We don't say football, we say footy.
Oh, you're famous for it.
We're famous for it. But, I mean, this happens throughout language, which is a fascinating thing about language, is that we concatenate. That's the word I was looking for. Well, we concatenate things together so that we... and that was a redundant statement. Concatenate things together.
Rather unique.
Rather redundant. Yeah, we do things like that. So when you use big words because you're trying to be smart, and you then put the normal meaning of it afterwards, so it's like saying I'm going to use the ATM machine.
Or the hot water heater.
Exactly. Oh, ATM machine is the perfect example. You're saying automatic teller machine when you say that, and I've done it so many times.
We all do it.
I remember in Milwaukee there used to be this furniture company that sold nothing but kitchen stuff, and their name was Color Chrome. And of course, chrome is Latin for color. So it was color.
There is a city in Indiana. I kid you not. They had a sign out front that said "City of," I can't remember what the name of the city was. City of, something. City Hall. So the word city was on the sign like 5 times.
By the way, Lone Wanderer.
Wow.
I've still got a spot in here, and the link's in my my group chat. If you want to hop in and talk about language with us, feel free.
You know you want to.
You
Lone
know
Wanderer.
you want
Come
to.
on. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to pressure you to do anything, Lone Wanderer. It's just, you're a fellow writer, so get in here if you
Having
want.
linguistic
That'd be
people
awesome.
talking about weird words, and not all of these are weird. They're just words that we don't use very often. I'll bring up our first one because really we should get into it.
Please do.
And
Good idea.
I'm gonna wreck the pronunciation of these. I just know it, but for the people watching, they'll be able to see how the words are spelt. But yeah, there she is. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Just finished up dinner time.
Hey.
And there she is for the viewers who couldn't see you for a second because I hadn't added your window. Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
Lone. Thanks for all the
Hello.
questions you wrote us.
You're welcome. I hope they weren't too weird. I just like, if someone says like the floodgates are open for questions, I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you come up with any more, feel free.
All right.
I
So,
shall.
so our first word
Yeah.
is
Your questions were good.
our first word for today is amphibology. Amphibology.
Spell it.
Amphibology.
Yes.
Is it the study of sound?
Amphibology?
The
Amphibology.
study of amphibians.
No,
Is that-
it's got nothing to do with amphibians.
Yeah.
Is it
Lone Water
study
is
of sound?
is a lot closer.
Or is it?
Do you want serious answers or joke answers?
Oh, either. If you know what it
Okay.
is, you can say it. But
So, something to do with the amphitheater?
not so much. More to do with language itself. It's a phrase about phrases. It's a word about phrasing.
Pronunciation?
Not so much pronunciation.
Amphology in English.
Prioritization of phrase importance.
Yeah, it's got to do with, well, not so much importance, but how succinct something is. So, if you're talking about the amphibology of a word or phrase, you're talking about
It's a form of another way
How
to discuss
ambiguous it is.
yeah, how
exaggeration.
ambiguous it is. Thank you, Julie. So it's
I love how she was
Yeah, well,
pointing
I
and she was
totally
saying
cheated. I had
ambiguous.
to look it up.
You
I
looked
have
it
never
up.
heard this
You
word in my
cheat.
life before now, so thank you.
Yeah, no
I
cheating.
did. I said I was going to cheat. I said it before I did it. I'm like, I'm totally cheating. Hang on.
Don't
And
do
then
that.
I did this.
What's more hilarious is she
I'll
was
try not to.
squinting when
Okay,
she
I
was
won't do
saying
that anymore. I'm
ambiguous
Yeah.
and squinting at the same
Yeah,
time. It's
I was
I-
literally like
it-
reading the
it-
definition.
I love the fact that it's a word that's almost ambiguous because it. I mean, you could think it was something to do with amphibians or something like that, especially when it's got biology on the end, and you
Yeah.
think it's biology and it's amphibians or something like that. But no, it's an ambiguous word that
you think
means
it's knowledge
ambiguousness
of-
in.
It's like the word obfuscate.
In words.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good example.
Yeah, it's certainly one of the those odd words that's out there. And when I came across that, I was like, yeah, that's a word I've never heard before.
The odd word that bothers me most is
I know. Neither had I.
Don't talk over me, Julie. Stop that.
I'm so sorry, Jen.
The most annoying word that I know of is nonchalant. Because it begs to say, well, then what is chalant? And there's no such word.
Nonch.
Yeah, that actually, Jenny, that's a good point. That kind of reminds me of over and underwhelmed. No one's ever
Yeah.
whelmed. You're always overwhelmed.
Over or underwhelmed.
You're never just.
I'm feeling kind of whelmed today.
As far as I can tell, whelmed is not a word.
Well,
I've
what's
been
another one,
overwhelmed
though?
all day.
Yeah,
I've been
like,
overwhelmed for months.
Sorry. Another
woke
one is
up-
like when they say forcible
No,
rape.
go ahead.
How do you not forcibly rape someone? Like you read in the papers, this is forcible
Thank
rape.
you.
I'm like,
Or the term legitimate rape. That what like there's
well,
such a thing
Grady,
as an
see, Grady
Well,
wants to say
illegitimate.
something. I can see it. I can
Oh,
see
and
it.
we just
That's a
killed this.
Republican,
We just killed this video
political
'cause we
term.
said the R word.
All right. One at a time.
Sorry, Jen. I'm sorry, Jen. We shouldn't have said that
Talking
word.
stick.
Sorry.
We need a talking stick.
No, that's all right. We can talk about it. I mean, I know you're being respectful to me because I'm a rape survivor, but that's fine. We can talk about it because that's part of
me
dealing
too,
with it.
but I'm-
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. No, I agree. It's just no, it's an algorithm thing. YouTube might suppress your video because we said the word.
Oh, really?
That's why I
That's
apologize.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
How
it's
can
not
you
because
have
I
it-
don't think we should.
How can you have a
And-
discussion? How could you have a discussion video
I'm a
about
tr-
stuff like that then?
You say R
I don't know.
word.
All
The
I know
R
is
word.
we say our word. Yeah.
Look, could
I
we still
was
say sexual
even
assault?
before this happened.
Well, YouTube.
I was doing you can say say assault, and it won't catch it. But if you say the R word, it might suppress it because apparently then they need a human being to come in and look at the content and make sure you're not like encouraging or I don't know.
That's just ridiculous.
But yeah,
this is all part of the current social atmosphere of nobody is responsible for their own feelings. At that, what I say, I am responsible for your feelings, and then if I say something that triggers you, it's my fault, not you not being able to deal with your feelings.
I'm so glad you said that.
And while I believe in trigger warnings, you're absolutely right, Jenny. Offense is taken, not given.
Yeah,
it's
although
like
there are people who deliberately try to give offense.
Yeah, like that guy.
But I'm not looking out at like Jane Doe somewhere, going, "I want to make her upset." You know, no, that's not my goal on any level. Okay,
No.
sorry.
All right, okay. Next word.
Next word. Let's move on to the next word. All right, so our next word is bad mash. BADMASH.
Oh.
This sounds like a
Would that be mashed potatoes?
That sounds like poorly made.
Bangers and mash.
Or the crappy one my mom used to make. I mean, she would bitch and moan and say she didn't like lumpy potatoes. Hers was lumpy as fuck.
You mean the type where they haven't quite boiled the potatoes for long enough, don't put enough milk and butter in.
Yep.
Yeah, they're definitely bad mash, but that's not what this word means.
I kind of like lumpy mashed potatoes.
Oh, look, I mean, I like some dips, but I don't like.
I like what they call.
Jenny,
have you ever made dirty mashed potatoes? It's where you leave the skin in.
Oh, always.
Yes.
That's how I always make mine.
Yeah, because the skin is all the vitamins. And stuff
if there's not enough skin, I'll just like sweep the floor and toss them in.
Oh,
I just can't be bothered to peel the potatoes.
That too. That's fair. My mom makes Yankee mashed potatoes where they're like super creamy and no skin and like 2 sticks of butter.
I like jacket potatoes where you where you pierce the potatoes and you cook them in the microwave until the insides have just gone all like mashed potato, but the outside's still a crispy. And then you cut them and pour butter in the middle, and then okay. Yep. Now I'm hungry.
So good. Okay, so what do we think?
I'm thinking about all the mashed potatoes I have in the fridge that we need to cook with them.
No, this isn't about potatoes at all. The language.
I'm guessing that it has something kind of to do with bad mouth. You know, instead of bad mouthing, if you bad mash something you can do to someone.
That's getting close. The word entered the English language through the colonies, so. Basically, it's got a derivation that comes from India. And there it has a particular meaning, and that's come in and means to mean a similar thing.
So it has nothing to do with bad moonshine.
No, it's not.
Is it a derogatory term for someone who's half white, half black?
Not a derogatory term for somebody who's half white or black, but not necessarily a derogatory term, but a term that describes a certain type of person.
Maybe just a bad somebody who's just not right.
Yeah, or somebody who's definitely bad. Yeah, it's a term for a hooligan.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. Because like in the South, we have an expression like "he ain't right."
Yeah,
and that's
so this came from the Indian. So I'm assuming it was kind of a mixed English thing. So the bad probably comes from English, and the mash is probably derived from a Hindi word. And then of course
all the other 8,000 languages they've got there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, or any of the other languages in India. Yeah. Alright, I'll grab up the next one. Now I know I'm not going to say this word properly because I've been trying to get it in my head properly. But so I will have to spell it to you. Bergstrand. BERGSCHRUND. Bergstrand.
Sausage?
It does sound like that, doesn't it? It sounds like one of those smoked sausages, like a kielbasa or something like that.
Yeah, it really does.
Be a connoisseur of cigars.
Oh,
Dog City.
I'm just guessing.
I
have no idea.
You could probably get a rough idea from actually splitting the word up somewhat. So,
Is it a
Dog
kind
City?
of a dog?
it's not a kind of dog. But
Yeah.
that would be an awesome... I've got a Bergstrand. That would be awesome. My little Bergstrand on my lap and I'm patting him. That would be amazing.
I have an
So it's
Afghan
not Dog
hound
City.
and Berg-
Yeah.
It looks
I'm
German.
Oh, now you're asking me. I do think I actually have got the history of this one, so I will give you some background on it.
That's probably a German word.
May I have the definition? May I have the origin?
Mid 19th century from Germany, from
It's a
the Berg and the Strand. So if
Okay, a burg is a city.
Oh yeah,
or
it
a
is.
town.
It's a city where they make beer.
it has another meaning in German as well.
Oh, okay.
Dang
So
it.
it's not the town meaning, it's the other meaning. So a berg. Well, think of something that we use the word berg in.
Burger.
Burger. For
Iceberg.
the type of
Iceberg.
sandwich?
Yes.
Oh, fiddlesticks.
It's
Seriously?
a dog-shaped iceberg.
No.
It's
Front does not mean dog.
It's an ice house.
No. But what do you find in ice? So if you've got large masses of ice and they're moving, what can you get in them?
Silurians?
Oh, there's water and ice.
Alright.
Is it
Sharks?
Seals.
Okay, not animals.
more
It's what happens to
Oh.
the ice itself. So if you've got an iceberg or a
crystal?
sorry,
Crystallization, cell crystallization.
and then you get within the crystals you get cracks
You
which
get you
become
have shards.
Air
cracks
bubbles?
which become
Sharks.
Fissures.
fissures and crevices. Yes, that's what the Strand is. So a Bergstrand is a junction of a glacier or snowfall with a steep upper slope. It's the crevice between that.
I can
Good.
see why
I
we
knew
don't
I
have
had
that word
heard the
anymore.
word before, but I couldn't
Okay.
remember.
May I just say, this is what is amazing about language. We have a word for this very specific thing, and English is great for that. It's why
Well,
it's one of the
I'm-
hardest languages to learn if you're not a native English speaker, and it's also why when you think about the fact that most modern people who speak English have like a 3,000 word vocabulary, and Shakespeare had about a 30,000 word vocabulary, it
And he
kind of
also
blows
made his
your-
own words up.
Are you
He did.
sure about
Eyeball
that?
is my favorite example. He made up
Are
the
you-
word eyeballs.
Yeah, are you sure about that? Because I did one of those tests, and I don't think I'm that smart, but apparently my vocabulary was like 26,000 words.
That's
Yeah, but
amazing.
you're a
Yeah,
writer.
I don't know. It was a comedian who said it, so I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah,
I
I
do
think
not-
I think the fact is a lot of us have larger vocabularies of words, but we only use about 3,000 of them regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I would believe.
That I would. Yeah,
Um,
me too. Because when you're reading, you know, you're like, oh, I know that word. I know what it means. Or you pick up context clues or whatever, but it might
Yeah.
not be a word you use every day.
I tell
Yeah.
you, when I was sitting down to read Lolita for the first time, I just sit there with a French dictionary and an English dictionary.
I would have to do that as well.
Yeah.
It took forever to read that.
I don't. I read more French than I can speak, but it's very little. Very little.
I don't do any French. I'm very monolinguistic, unfortunately.
I just
Oh,
Nothing
you could
wrong
be an
with that.
American.
tired. I mean, I should have taken Spanish. That actually would have been useful.
I'd like to learn Cantonese.
Habla Espanol. Cantonese? Yeah. Mandarin's
Cantonese would be-
easier.
I know Mandarin's easier,
Mandarin's
but Cantonese
hard.
Cantonese is beautiful.
Yeah, I had a friend that I worked with at a coffee shop who spoke Cantonese because her parents were from China and spoke Cantonese, and I just knew she was of Chinese, like her parents were from China. So I
Yeah.
said, "Hey, would you ever be willing to teach me, Chinese sometime?" And she said, "Well, here's the thing. Most Chinese people speak Mandarin. I only know Cantonese, so I could teach you Cantonese, but
That's
you
no
won't
use to
find
you.
anyone
Yeah.
else besides me that you can talk to with it." And I was
Yeah.
like,
And
Oh,
in all honesty,
okay.
you'd probably be better off learning Japanese. Because you're going to
Yeah.
interact with more people who speak Japanese, more than likely.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
I
'Cause
can say like hello and thank you very much in Japanese. That's about it. Like konnichiwa,
Konnichiwa.
and domo arigato.
arigato.
I
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, and oh, and is it yata? I know that, which is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
hey, that's
yata means I did it. It's like,
I did it. Yeah, I did it. Or like hooray! Like, yeah, I did it.
banzai.
Yeah.
Ohio
And then-
gozaimasu.
Yep. Ohio gozaimasu.
All right, let's move on to the next
Go on.
word.
Yeah, next word.
All right. Deglutition. Deglutation. Deglutition.
A technician that removes gluten.
I was going to say removes glue.
That sounds good.
Spell it again.
It's not. Deglutation.
It's something that's like taking. I'm imagining this is terrible. This is gonna freak if any vegans are watching or listening. Just trigger warning. I'm just imagining like the glue factory or the gelatin factory where the horses hooves and bones.
No, it's not to do with glue.
And somehow making it in reverse. But that doesn't
Is
make
it-
it.
Is it the removal of something?
Yeah. You're removing something from somewhere and it's going to somewhere else. Yes.
Okay.
But it's
Okay.
Are you
it's a
moving
natural
glue?
process.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's when I'm gonna guess that it's as decomposition happens, it's when the bones and ligaments start to separate.
I love
each
that
other.
theory, but it's wrong.
Damn, that would've been
Is it
so
to
fun.
do with the human body?
It is to do with the human body. It's something we all do. We do quite a few times a day.
Oh,
Involuntarily sometimes.
Sneezing?
No, it's
Oh.
not sneezing.
It's yawning.
It's not yawning.
It's not.
I thought that was a good guess though.
It is a
Coughing?
good guess, but you're talking about the right part of the body.
Okay,
Swallowing.
Swallowing. Yes, it is swallowing.
swallowing. Oh my goodness. Okay, deglutition is swallowing. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I masticated, then I deglued.
Yeah,
I
it's brilliant, isn't it? Imagine
masticated.
writing that into a novel. People would think you're
Yeah.
mental.
And then that
Sorry,
was
I shouldn't say that word.
deglutition, and then digestion.
Do you masticate in public?
Always.
Often.
Yes.
Often and with my mouth open.
Not these days. But it's time. I used to
Am I?
masticate in public quite often.
Uh,
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Quick, very short, like 2-sentence story. This lovely couple that we hang out with a lot,
Yeah.
well, that we used to hang out, we Zoom with now.
How long do you gauge your
That was
sentence?
2 sentences. I'm sorry.
No,
Oh,
hang
how-
on.
how long
They
do you
loved,
gauge your
no,
sentence?
it's not because there's a semicolon. They loved eating out and having a date night.
Eating out.
They did,
What is that
comma.
singing?
So now they set up their dining room table with a tablecloth, comma, candles, comma, glass of wine, and they make a very nice dinner and sit down to have a dinner as though they had gone out to a restaurant in their own dining room. Period.
But Julie, you forgot the semicolon. You were starting the list.
I was. All right. Any students out there of mine watching this? She got me. She's right. Former students teaching.
Who's singing?
For once, it wasn't me.
Sorry, that was in the background here.
Oh, good. Okay.
No worries. All right, so our next word is criticaster.
Someone who's a critic on TV.
Someone
Spell
who
it.
uses crickets for bait while
It is to
fishing.
do with critics. It actually is to do with critics.
Hmm.
And
Spell
I've
it.
known many people I would describe as this.
Criticaster.
You still have to spell
So-
it.
Criticaster.
Someone who critiques because they can't do. Like critiques
Um,
just every.
Yeah, I would say these kind of people would be like that as well, but it's not necessarily a case of that.
Are they critiquing in a mean way?
They can be. It's more to do with their skill level as a critic.
I think it's an amateur who criticizes critics.
Yes, I think so.
They don't have to criticize critics, but yeah, they probably would be classed as an amateur because it's got to do with how good they are. So a criticaster is somebody who's considered an incompetent critic.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
That's a great word.
Yeah, so they try to be critical of others, but they suck at it.
They suck at it.
Ignorance and arrogance.
Wouldn't a better word be incriticant?
I actually think gender critical's a very good.
I think on occasion I have been a criticaster. I hope I'm better now, but certainly.
I think we probably all have at different times.
Yeah.
All right, I'll put up the next one. At least the next one I'm going to pronounce correctly. Cudbear. Cudbear. Cudbear.
The French cupboard.
No.
Cudbear.
A bear that chews its cud?
It's got nothing to do with bears, even though it's got the word bear in it.
A sheep.
I will say that this would have been incredibly expensive from the first times it was probably imported into Europe, which would have been during the Roman period onwards. Probably one of the most expensive of its type.
Some form of tobacco or chewing
No.
tobacco? Chocolate?
No.
Chewing?
It's not something you'd eat, it's something you'd use.
Okay.
Is it a jewel?
It's not a jewel,
No,
but
it's a weapon. It's a weapon.
it's not a weapon either. It's
Is it a substance used for cleaning?
it's a substance, yes, but not for cleaning.
It's it's the cud from a cow that is dried, powdered, and used as a spice in cooking.
Not a powder for cooking, but it does come from a plant. It comes from a lichen, and it's made into a powder, and then it's used for something else.
Is it used for like baby powder?
No, it's not baby powder. What was that, Julie?
Is it ipecac? Like, is it something to make you
No.
vomit?
She means like
it's like I said, it's made from a lichen. This lichen is kind of rare. It was collected, made into a powder, and that powder was used by mostly women at the time for doing something with material.
Was it dyeing material?
It's for dyeing, yeah. Cudbear is the name of the dye powder that was used to make violet or purple.
Oh, nice.
Which along with blue was one of the rarest colours you could get.
Blue is virtually non-existent.
But the blue was virtually non-existent, but that they would use a dilute version of dyeing with Cudbear to make a quasi-blue from the purple, and that's why it was so expensive. The blue ones were even more expensive. It was more expensive than gold, you know.
Blue is very interesting. That we didn't even have a word for the color blue. The color of the sky was referred to as a form of green.
It was, yeah.
And the word blue didn't come around till I forget when, but it's surprisingly recent in human history.
It's not that we didn't see blue though. It's just
it took somebody inventing it as a painting color for it to gain
despite
the
fact
blue.
that we see the ocean was considered a green and the sky was either considered an orange or a green depending
time of day.
That's so cool, Jenny. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah. Shall we bring out the next one?
Sure.
I vote aye.
Donkey Man.
Donald Trump.
I knew someone was going to say that. No.
That's an insult to donkey.
I don't think he'd even qualify as a donkey man.
Donkeys?
It's a superhero. Donkey Man!
He's a bit of an ass, but we love him.
Is it like a shepherd for donkeys?
No.
Like
No,
someone
it's
who
not.
raises donkeys?
In this case, the word donkey doesn't mean the animal.
Dagnabbit. Okay, so a bastard?
No, not a bastard.
Is
This
it
was a job
No, that
description.
would be a mule man.
This was a
Oh.
job description.
Ooh.
Job description, a merchant. Okay.
Like a
Oh,
load bearer or like a burden, someone who carries
Delivery.
stuff?
delivery.
Yeah,
man?
somebody who dealt in moving product from one place to another.
No.
Dang it.
You would find a in the time when this was used, you'd find a donkey on a ship.
Oh, Donkey Man was the guy who cleaned up after the donkey.
No. There was no
The guy who cleaned up after other guys?
animal donkey involved. The donkey in this case is the name that they gave to a certain part of a ship.
Wait,
Oh.
what did Andrew say?
Oh, the guy who cleans up after other guys.
No.
Was it a scullery maid?
No. It was usually a man. He usually worked to it was a dirty job because of what you were dealing with. But and you've got to think of a time when ships went from sails to
So is this someone who
Steam.
who cleaned
steam. Yes.
up-
You shoveled coal?
Yeah, he would have been a coal shoveler. Yeah, he would have also done other things to do with the engine because the donkey was the engine on the boat. That's what they called it, the donkey.
Ah,
And it was because of the big pistons that they had that went up and down, they called them a donkey. So the donkey man was the man who was not necessarily qualified in working on the engine, although some of them were, but it was somebody who worked in the engine room. And they were the donkey man because they were the labourer for the ship.
working me like a donkey.
Yeah, working me like a donkey.
There you go.
So another one of those cool little words.
That's cool.
Okay, let's
Next.
move on.
Yeah, I've got to copy it into the thing so people can see what it is.
Locks through in the corner. Next. Next.
Oh, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation here. Entomophagy. ENTOM.
Oh, someone who eats bugs.
Oh, well done. And how is it pronounced?
Look at you!
I don't know.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's a person who eats insects.
There you go.
And
Not
that would be
even ask
pronounced.
why Aunt Jer knows that.
That would probably be pronounced
What?
entophage. Phage.
Would
Yeah,
it?
ento is like for bugs, like an entomologist, like
Yeah,
bugs.
yes, it is. Yeah,
And then phage is it's eats.
it
Oh.
eats.
Yeah.
Basic
Yes, that'd be
I know
Latin.
it's a basic
entophagy.
That's a basic.
Yeah.
That's a basic
you're right.
Latin derivative.
Not even going to ask how you know what that is.
I imagine it's because she took Latin at some point. But I'm
Or 8 bugs.
All right,
No, I didn't eat bugs, but I did take 4 years of Latin.
I know Julie's going to love this next one because of what she talked about at the beginning. So our next one is Hottie Noddy.
I also need a paper towel. I'm sorry. Next one is what?
Hottie
Noddy
Noddy.
noddy.
HODDY-NODDY. Hottie Noddy.
Is it a piece of equipment used in knitting or spinning wool?
Sorry.
No,
I hit
it's
the
not.
table.
It's someone who falls
is it a-
asleep at a party.
Well, they probably could. You probably could call somebody who falls asleep at a party a Hottie Noddy. So it is definitely
Is it a party
describing...
pooper?
Not necessarily a party pooper, but
Person who drinks too much and has too much fun at a party?
they could also be called a Hottie Noddy. It's basically a foolish person.
Okay.
Ah.
So, I mean, I'm assuming, and I don't have the etymology of it here, unfortunately. It's one of those words I got with the meaning and no etymology link, and I didn't look it up. But I'm assuming it's one of those words similar to willy-nilly, where it was actually a larger group of words that got concatenated down into Hottie Noddy.
It sounds like it.
It does.
Like a Hottie Noddy or something.
No.
But
Yeah.
But I that's not. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't take that as a thing.
Oh no. Like I said, I didn't actually find the etymology of it, so but I did find it interesting as a word, as one of those ones that comes from being obviously from something bigger. Mm-hmm. That didn't copy and paste properly. I was going to put the next one up. Alright. I nearly messed that up. And the next one... No, I cut and pasted the wrong way and copied over the word I was going to put in here.
Oh, dear.
But that's okay, I fixed it. The next one is Kinspeckle.
Kinspeckle?
Yep. This is derived from Scottish.
So it's relatives who are freckled.
That sounds
well, no, it's not, but I like that. Yeah, Kinspeckle. My kin's speckled. Yeah, because Ken would be like kin. Yeah. No.
Yeah. I was thinking it's when Ken Ham caught the chicken pox, but no. Kinspeckle.
Is it
how
like
is it
to
spelled?
barely know something?
Oh.
Yeah, that's.
No, it's not, but I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. That'd be like, you can? No, I don't.
I can speckle your wall.
Yeah, I'm. It's another word that I don't actually have the full etymology of. So, but you would be probably correct in that the ken means your kin or people around you, because it is. It is often related to people, although it has moved within the Scots to talk about other things. But and speckle is, like if something is speckled, it is probably more noticeable.
Incest?
No, not incest.
Oh God, that was terrifying.
Bad family members,
Sorry?
Embarrassing family members?
Well, they could be, but it's more about them being conspicuous or easily recognizable. So someone who is, or something that is conspicuous or easily recognizable is considered Kinspeckle. So
someone who doesn't look like other members of the family?
Yeah, I suppose that'd be conspicuous then.
Oh,
Yeah.
the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah, the milkman's child.
What did I just do? Alright.
I'd say someone who quintessentially resembles their ancestors to the point where anyone else outside of the family would be like, hey, you're a Campbell or a McIntosh or a whatever.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, to be used in that sense, the way you're definitely one of these because it's very conspicuous and recognizable. So yeah.
You're a soup or a computer? What?
I said a
Campbell's.
No, fair, Campbell or McIntosh. You're right. I should have said a Mackenzie or a Robertson.
Well, one of those is a tractor then.
Yeah, and the other one's coffee.
Hey, my mom's half Robertson, so I know that's the attractive one, right? That's what you mentioned. They loved that when we were in Edinburgh, by the way. All I had to say was, my grandmother was a Robertson, and they were like, oh, Les, you've come home. I was like, well, we were kicked out. Oh, dear. It was great. Anyway, sorry, continue, please.
No worries. All right, well, our next one is Loblolly. Loblolly.
Oh, like
something you want to throw overboard.
No, this is actually from North America, so it's in the right neck of the woods for you guys.
It is a sport where people see who can throw lollipops the furthest.
I want to watch that sport. I reckon they need a big whiteboard at the end of it, and they give it a few licks first, and if they can stick it on it, it's even better. And they can have big circles on it that have different number of points.
Yep.
Is it gossip?
Is it like a bum? Someone that's unemployed?
No, it's not. It's not a person. It's an actual thing.
Okay.
Okay, a loblolly is cargo that stevedores throw onto the dock or onto a ship.
Oh, I like that as a definition, but it's not that. But that's awesome.
Dang it!
Is it a
Sounded good,
trebuchet
though,
that,
didn't it?
is
It's
it a trebuchet that throws
Sorry,
lollipops?
it's not.
Is it a
but
trebuchet that
that's
throws lollipops?
awesome.
No.
That's awesome. Is that so that you can cheat when you're doing the sport?
Is it Jimmy Hoffa's resting place?
Oh!
Nobody knows.
Brilliant. This is a type of plant.
Oh,
Loblolly.
okay.
I'm not a botanist, you see. So.
None of us are.
Hey, Junk Shop, you ever heard of a loblolly? Or a
Lolly.
loblolly? Lolly.
Loblolly.
Julie's had
Loblolly.
too much to drink.
Oh, I'm sorry. They just told me this is a women's panel, and therefore they're going to continue to shoot Nazis on their video game.
Oh,
And
okay.
not, which I approve of in the video game. Let me be very clear.
I have to step away and my battery is about to die.
Is it
No
a
worries,
tree?
Jenny. Love you.
All right. We love
Sorry.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, hugs.
Is it a tree?
It's a tree, yes.
That has lollipops on it.
No, it's
Stop with the lollipop.
it's a type of pine tree. So it's got long, slender needles, and I don't know why they decided they're like lollies, but so it's a North American pine tree, and its name is a loblolly. So
Never heard of it.
Who knows?
I hadn't either, but I thought one
It
of you
might
guys
even
might
be a
have.
perversion from like a Native American name that sounded vaguely like loblolly, and they just Anglicized it. There's
All
That
I do
happens
know
a
is the people
lot.
who sell Christmas trees make a shit ton of money.
yeah.
All right, so the next one, I'm almost assuming somebody's going to know what it is, but I couldn't leave this word out. Merkin. MERKIN.
It's a vagina toupee.
Yes, it is. It's a vagina toupee.
Yeah. I learned that when I was like 12.
I am pretty sure that's what
I
Trump
learned
wears on
that
his head.
from the L word. I'm pretty sure it was. Well, it was either the L. No, it was the L word, and then it was reinforced with Californication.
I just don't
there's a
understand.
particular-
Like, why do you want to just let it grow and style
I
it?
don't know.
Well,
I
maybe they
feel
can't
no
grow
need
hair.
to look like an 8-year-old below the waist. And I'm not
Thank you.
judging. I'm not judging anyone else.
Yeah,
But, see,
I
you're making
I
a
just
presumption. You're making an assumption there about that particular subject, because you and I have had
I
this
am.
conversation, and
We
it's
have.
not
We
not
have.
that I wish to look like
Right.
an 8-year-old. It's that, well, I don't care. It's just that I feel the need to do it for health reasons.
No.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a certain amount of, I get it. There's a certain amount of aesthetic and also hygiene related things that, yeah, you want to. I get that,
Yeah.
but yeah. So okay, so here's my question, y'all.
yeah.
Toupees are ridiculous. Why did anyone ever come up with a Oh, I know why. The movies. I just remembered seeing Life of Brian for the first time when I was about 12. And that was the first time I ever saw a full-grown man naked because of that one scene when Graham Chapman opens the windows and he's standing there completely naked. And I was like, oh, so that's what that looks like. Okay, now
Last
I know.
turkey in the shop.
Yep. And then there's the moment when you see the woman and she has a ridiculous amount of, and I get it now. It was probably it probably came, I would guess it came about because of movies so that you could, excuse me, maintain modesty while also
Being naked.
assuming
Nakedness.
that the person was naked. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Probably.
I have no idea. I've always wondered like why those happen.
It's an odd thing for people for them to come up with, isn't it? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Right.
I mean,
I
I get guys
a
wanting.
joke.
I get people wanting to wear wigs. If your hair's not that great and you want to have a good look, or you just want to change your look, that's fine. But people can see your head unless, of course, you're in one of those oppressive countries that forces you to wear things that completely cover your face and head.
Yeah.
So I get wigs. I don't get that because we don't walk around freaking naked. Most of us.
No, but that's why movies were the only thing I could think of. Is why
I
that
just
would be
assumed it was
necessary.
invented as a joke.
Seriously?
That's what I assumed that.
Well, have you guys heard of vajazzling?
Vajazzling, yes.
Yeah. So vajazzling is basically putting on, like, sticking, like, glitter and gems down there.
Yeah, and I'm like...
That's when you
So
want
maybe
the OBGYN to have a
another-
really good day.
Now,
Vajazzling.
now, I've had sex on the beach. And the after effects of that, if you don't get the sand out of the way, is not pleasant. So I cannot imagine anything nice coming from having a vajazzle.
The only good sex on the beach is the drink, not
Yes,
actual,
the actual sex.
just saying.
I don't even get the...
And I feel awkward because I know there's at least one ace person in here, and I don't want to belabor the sex stuff.
But I mean, some people, I guess, for the Merkins and the vajazzle and stuff, some people, maybe it's an issue of self-confidence.
They just like to spice up their life.
Exactly. But the very first Merkin I ever saw, and I guess, I don't know how it happened, internet curiosity, you click from one page to the other, it was a swastika Merkin.
Ew,
What?
gross.
Why would anyone do that?
Ew. Why would you want that filth near your special place?
Well, she might have been a white supremacist.
I'm sure she was, but it's still filth near her
Well,
special
actually, and this is where we have to also, be careful because, people paint swastikas on their house and it's not because they're racist, it's because they're Hindu.
Yeah.
Well, that's in India.
Yeah, because,
though. I mean,
there's...
Well,
Yeah.
if you did that here, like, you do that anywhere else, some symbols get ruined, is all I'm saying. I understand. The swastika is also in Native American cultures, and it just
It's in a lot of cultures.
It doesn't mean anything bad, but you're not gonna go to a reservation and see swastikas everywhere because, and also reservations shouldn't exist. But that's a different topic. But but yeah, I mean, all of that aside, like you're not gonna see that because they know they're like, no, this was a racist white guy in the mid 20th century ruined the symbol for us. Yeah. So we don't really, play it up too much.
Yeah, well, there was an Indian family in New Zealand, and they put it on the rooftop around Diwali, I think it was, and people were complaining, and they wanted them ran out of town. It's like, well, this is actually what's to us a wonderful symbol,
Right. Yeah, that's sad. I'm sorry. I feel bad for that family. I do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you kind of have to realize the world history.
I've been trying to catch him online. I just messaged him. He said after he gets done with dinner, he want to talk about it for a bit.
What?
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, yeah. But
let's move on from Merkins anyway.
Also weird. Yes, let's please move on.
Yeah, okay. So then the next one is an opsimath. OPSIMATH.
Oh, it's alternative math.
Sorry?
It's not a polymath.
No.
It's alternative math. It's optional.
No, it's not optional. It's
Option.
opsi. It's opsi.
Opsimath is someone who knows a lot about a lot of different subjects.
No.
Damn it.
But I like that. I'm sure there is a term for that, though. But wouldn't that be eclectic?
Well, I think that's actually what a polymath is.
Or
so
a
I'm
polymath.
probably
Yeah, a polymath does too. Yeah, you're right. An opsimath has more...
Someone that sees the opposite of things. Sees things maybe in black and white.
That would be so good if it was true, but it's not.
It would be.
It's got more to do with when you started studying.
Okay. An opsimath is someone who is I'm just gonna guess and say advanced in their formal education.
Well, advanced in something, not necessarily the formal education.
Age. advanced in age.
Yes. Yeah, so an opsimath is somebody who starts their education later in life.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I got it.
That man in Kenya, he went to start going to school at like 80 or something.
Well, this just quick comments from my 14 years of teaching. My what they call adult or non-traditional students, and they were largely women who had raised families and then had either their husbands had left or something had changed, or they just wanted to, and they were coming back to finish their education after raising children. Those were my best students, always. They were amazing. Like, they didn't give you any BS about what was going on in their personal lives. Even if their personal lives were a complete mess, they still turned in A papers.
I finally figured out what degree I'm going to add to my thing next year, because I am going to back to study again, and I'm going to do a psychology degree.
Oh, that's fantastic, Jen. Good for you.
Well, multiple reasons. One, it really fascinates me, and I love the whole concept. I love that. I love talking with people. I know I normally can't shut up, but I'm actually not a bad listener when I get down to it. But as far as where I'm moving to and everything, anything else that I'm interested in studying isn't something that I could make a profession out of, but this is. And
nice.
I'm looking at it as it's something I'm interested in, something I'd like to study, and I could get a job out of it. So I'm like, 3 for 3. You know, well, why not go down that way? So I'm going to start picking up. I'm going to start it with a counselling degree. So I'll get a certificate in counselling, and then move on to do my associate diploma in psychology. I'll do it as an associate diploma, and then I can do the rest of it externally, because Albany doesn't have a full university. So, and as I'm shifting down there, it's going to be a lot harder, so I'll have to do a lot of it remotely, but that's fine. But yeah. So.
I love that you can, you can do a lot of that until you have to get to your practicum.
Yeah, but if I'm already working, and using my skills anyway, you're kind of getting your prac doing anyway, so you can get credit for what you're doing. So that's my thought, is get the prac credit by actually working, and then pick the rest of it up remotely. So that's kind of my plan. So next year I'll be doing a psychology degree.
That's
amazing. That is so awesome.
So yeah, if I put the next one in,
I've been thinking about it too, just because I've never been jobless this long in my life, and so I'm wondering, like, okay, what should I do now?
Psychology. We'll do it together, Julie.
I actually thought about it. I sincerely thought about it, because one of my patrons actually suggested. He said that I'm so. He said he paid me a lovely compliment. He said, "You're so empathetic when you're talking to people, and when you're talking to people about mental illness and the struggles that you've had, and you're so open with that. Like, have you ever considered going into psychology as a therapist?" And I was like, that is the loveliest thing ever that anyone could say. But then I thought about it, and I was like, I can't.
You wouldn't want to have to deal with other people's issues?
Well, yeah, it's not that I don't want to, it's that it would weigh on me. See, it would weigh on me to a degree that would be unhealthy for me.
I can separate other people's issues from my own, and I've always been able to do that. So I don't think I'd have the problem with that. And there's other avenues of the psychology that you can do, because, I mean, one of the things you can use it for here is if you're working in job placement programs and things like that. So people who counsel people who are out of work and stuff and getting new jobs and things like that. That requires a basic level counselling psychology degree, which I'd have. So there's areas in that for work. There's youth work and stuff like that comes from that as well. Even in aged care, because they still need counsellors to go in and talk to people and stuff like that. So there's lots of avenues.
That was Junk Shop's specialty when they were getting their degree in social work. Yeah.
So
elder care.
So basically, I would do psychology with and with that social work as well, because social working is very rewarding. So.
Yeah.
So
It has a high burnout rate in the States. I don't know about Australia, but it has a high burnout rate here.
Yeah, I think it does, which is why you want more than just that in your arsenal. You want to be able to do that, but also be able to do the other stuff with, like couples counselling and things like that as well, so that you can run across a gamut of things, so that you're not constantly doing the same thing. Which is what I'd look at. I only want to do it part-time anyway, so... But, yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next word.
Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, everyone, sorry. We went off.
Sorry about that. So the next word is shavetail.
Shavetail.
Yeah. Now, this is a military slang.
Somebody who has been embarrassed.
Someone who has been had their head shaved because they just started boot camp.
Well, it is somebody who'd be fairly new. A
baby.
No, not a baby.
There wouldn't be a baby in the military.
No, I know that. I heard shavetail, and some babies are born with patches of hair on their lower backs.
I wouldn't say it was somebody who was new to boot camp. This person would have been there for a while, but they might be new to a position.
No time in grade?
Well, I don't even know what that means, Granny.
Oh, that's someone who's just got promoted.
Okay. Yes, this will be somebody who's just been promoted to a particular rank within the military. So, in this case, that level would be a commissioned officer. Mm. So, a newly commissioned officer or who's inexperienced is considered a shavetail.
Ah, got it. Okay. Cool.
So, because they're inexperienced in that, I suppose.
I feel like I should have known that. I come from an army, like my dad was in the army, my brother was in the army, my other brother was in the Air Force. I feel like I should have known that, but I did not.
All right, I got a good one to end on.
Thank you.
And another one of those weird words that's probably a concatenation of stuff. So, this one is snollygoster.
I have no clue.
SNOLLYGOSTER. Snollygoster.
I really wish I knew what this was.
Nosy?
I've had it for a while. It's just I've been kind of lazy on leveling it. Now that I got leveling really easy,
what?
Sorry, my husband's talking in the background
for a while, but he's getting over it. It's fine. I was teasing Lone Wanderer. Please don't stay gone. I was just teasing.
So yeah,
someone who engages in gossip.
Oh, they possibly would engage in gossip, but I'm guessing this is probably a snollygoster would be probably post Shakespearean sort of era word. So an early English slang term for this kind of person. So
someone who writes the social pages in the paper?
No. So this is more to do with you might describe I would actually probably well, partly from its definition, label Trump one of these.
Oh, someone who lies a lot.
Well, yes, they probably would lie a lot.
Uses propaganda to their advantage.
Definitely would do that. Basically, it's considered a shrewd or unprincipled person.
Oh.
So somebody who plays the game and tries to use it all to their advantage. I'm not saying Trump's good at it, but he does obviously think of himself as a snollygoster.
He does, for sure.
And it's a brilliant word to describe him, isn't it? You fucking snollygoster.
It is. I like it very much. I might use it in a tweet.
I like how Laura already got to Trump before I did. So I'm guessing Laura, being English, actually knew what the word was.
He's so much.
He is. He's a dreadful person. Did you see the highlights from his last rally?
I don't know. I have to take it in
I couldn't
bits.
watch a whole rally, but I watched some of the highlights, and it was like, he's just waffling bullshit. He was talking about how bad the press were for not talking about Biden's son more.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So 5 years ago, when I was still teaching, I had a student came up to me after class, and she was this absolutely brilliant, lovely young lady.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, so here's the thing. I went to a Trump rally. And I was like, oh, what was it like? And I'm trying to be all, professorial and neutral and stuff. But yeah. I don't lie well, so I'm sure stuff was showing my face. And she said, those film clips they have of Hitler youth rallies? And I said, yes, I'm familiar. She said, it was like that.
Oh.
And I'm blonde and white, and I was terrified the entire time I was there.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, all right. I didn't think it would be much different, but
yeah, no, he's pretty toxic with the way he plays the crowd and that. I mean, he is definitely trying to play the crowd, and he's playing to the lowest common denominator, which is pretty stupid in that case, because a lot of the people who are at his rallies don't have much in the way of education, would be my guess.
No, they do not. And also they are a lot of them are one-issue voters.
Yeah.
Or they are party voters, as in they hold, like, being Republican. And honestly, I get this, because being a Democrat is very much a part of my identity.
Yeah.
But for them, like, voting, I mean, my Republican parents taught me you vote for the candidate, not the party.
Yes.
But now all they do is vote across party lines as they've gotten older. And I feel like all I'm doing is voting across party lines as a Democrat, because
you can't possibly vote the other way at the moment.
Exactly.
There is no choice the other way at the moment in that.
Thank you. The last Republican I even thought, and I didn't vote for him, but who I thought was actually a good person and a good politician was John McCain. And that's the only one I can think of.
You have to go back a fair way. I mean, because you've got two Bushes and a Reagan. Mm-hmm. And of those, Reagan was probably the better. And that's not saying much.
No, agreed. It's not saying much, but I agree.
And to go back before then is basically before I was born. And I mean, I'm not American anyway, so I'm not going to know.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Whereas on the Democrat side, I mean, okay, Clinton was an ass, but I mean, at least he didn't try to tear the country down and put it down the pooper.
He did a lot of things wrong, but he did a lot of things right too.
Yeah, it probably balanced out from it. And I think Obama's probably the best president you've had since Kennedy.
I think so. I mean, and he did some stuff that was very wrong, but he also did a lot of things that were right. And yeah.
I think I think Obama held the office to the degree it should have been held.
Yes,
I agree. He held reverence to the position that he had, and he gave respect to the other areas of American politics, which we haven't seen from a lot of presidents. A lot of presidents try to rough ride everything. I didn't see that from Obama.
No, he has a graciousness.
Yes,
about
which is something you haven't seen since Kennedy.
Yes, and that I really miss very much. I really
and
miss
Biden does not have that. Biden in a lot of sense is not much. Is only better than Trump in that the party who's backing him is better than the Republicans.
Well, and also Biden will do less harm than Trump. So
isn't that dreadful? You shouldn't be voting on who will do less harm.
I know. But listen, I'm dealing with a situation where I know people personally, and I live in a red state. My state always goes red. So basically, my presidential vote has never counted. I'm 42 years old. I've been voting since I was 18. I voted for Bill Clinton the first time I ever got to vote. It's never mattered. However, if you give your in the U.S., if you vote for a third party, you're throwing your vote away more than I am. And I wish I wish I lived in a state that where my vote actually counted.
In Australia, it's different.
At least I'm letting people know that there are Democrats in Tennessee.
In Australia, independents can get into the lower house and can take controlling positions, especially if you end up with a hung parliament. And that's happened a few times in the last couple of decades, where the independents have had some say over what's been going on. Generally, it's independents and not small parties, though.
Well, Bernie's an independent, but
Lone Wanderer would agree with me. But in the upper house in Australia, and it's similar in New Zealand, you get a lot of minor parties having a lot of say, which gives them a balance of power control over what the mainstream political parties are doing. So we actually more so. I mean, it doesn't always happen. Sometimes you have a landslide win for one of the main parties, and they end up with control of both houses, and then it's shit. But generally speaking, they don't have that, and the minor parties have a say in the upper house. And without the seal of approval from the upper house, the lower house cannot make legislation.
But you know what y'all have that we don't? You have compulsory voting.
Yeah, which is much better.
You have to vote. We do not.
Is it compulsory voting in New Zealand?
No. What? I'm sorry, ask that again.
No, it's only compulsory to enroll to vote, not to actually
show up. Yeah, so it's only us who are. I am honestly all for compulsory voting. I mean,
I tried to get an adopted one of my friend's kids, like one of my nephews who's not a blood nephew, but who the fuck cares. We tried really hard to get him registered to vote because he turned 18 this year, and we were trying really, really hard to get him registered to vote in time so that he could vote in the election. And the thing is, he's trans, and he is his preferred pronoun. And he was just starting to realize, like, how much this matters, like how much it affects his life in particular.
Yeah.
And we didn't get it. We could not get it done in time because I can't get into it because it's not my story to tell, but other people had dragged their feet too much, and including him, frankly, including him.
My youngest daughter doesn't like voting. She doesn't like the politicians who is there, but she's aware that it's compulsory in this country, so she shows up. And then when she's in there, she decides if she wants her vote to count or not. Because you don't have to have your vote count. You just have to have your name crossed off. So you can just
you can write in Minnie Q Mouse if you want. Who the fuck cares? But honestly, like, just for the American election right now, if you can vote and you vote third party, you're going to be contributing to Trump winning a second term. Just so you know, you will. That's just a fact. I can't change it. I wish I could. I wish you could all vote Green Party and win, but that is not how it works here.
Well, no, it would if everyone did it.
Yeah, but everyone will not.
No, because there's too many. There's enough people who are just card-carrying members of the two political parties that one of them has to win. So you have to pick which one of your main political parties you want to win. I find that abhorrent.
And that's why I say. And that's why I say, like, yeah, it's important. I agree, but that's why I say that, like, people who are like, I'm tired of voting for the lesser of two evils, and I'm like, well, think of it like this: you're voting for the lesser of two harms.
I also find it abhorrent that you cannot get rid of your
more harm, Trump or Biden.
Yeah. Oh, Trump definitely.
But why don't you just tell Kylie to vote for the Informed Medical Options Party? That'd be a waste.
Exactly.
She just doesn't bother. She just folds the paper up and shoves it in the ballot. I'm not done, but that's her choice.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood and I commented on something I shouldn't have. Go ahead.
But yeah, what I don't also like about your politics is you elect a president, and that president's crap. There is nothing you can do about it for 4 years.
Yeah.
That's just crazy to me. I don't get that. If we have a prime minister, and this has happened in the how many times? 4 times in the last 15 years, we've had prime ministers who have not been popular in the public opinion of what they've been doing, so their parties got rid of them. With no election required, they dumped their ass and appointed somebody else.
Well, and that's the difference between a prime minister and a president. That's the difference in the system of how it works. And I mean, you know, obviously Boris over in the UK is a bad example, but generally speaking, I have often wondered if a prime minister system is not better than the way that we have it, where we have the executive branch and then the. You know,
I think you could have both, but I mean, is Germany? Is it Germany that has a prime minister and a president? Yeah.
Yeah, they have like the chancellor and the.
And Angela Merkel is a freaking amazing woman.
Yeah,
so chancellor and the prime minister.
Now, your chancellor has a lot of power, but so does your prime minister, and it's not like there's one more great in power than the other. So the House can say, no, you're not doing that to the chancellor. You know, these things, you're not doing this, basically. This is the thing. Well, there's too much power invested in your president.
Yeah, that's supposed to happen here, honestly. However, what happens is if a party gets control. Oh, I'm sorry. Bye. If a party gets control of the Senate or the Congress, they do not give it up, and particularly the Republicans, because they have a capability that Democrats don't, and that is that Democrats are more like skeptics. Yeah. We're kind of like herding cats. It's like we're like, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that. And whereas Republicans are like, whatever, who's our main dude? Okay, we are in lockstep behind him all the way. And that it has not always been that way. Oh. I do want to point out something about Republicans. Like during the Nixon administration, it was Republicans who found out that excuse me, that he was spying on the Democratic National Convention, and that those things. Bye, Granny. Good night. I love you. And they were the ones who blew the whistle on their own candidate, on their own president, because they were like, no, we don't want our party to be this way. So it has not always been the way I just described.
No.
But now we're polarized to the point where that is absolutely how it is.
Yeah. The other thing I don't like with your politics is basically you've got this very right-wing Republican Party, and you've got this only just left of center Democratic Party. You don't really have left parties. I mean, in Australia, we've basically got the Liberal Party, which is quite a bit, not hugely, but a little bit right of centre. And you got Labor Party, which is a little bit left of centre, and both are fairly close to centre, with the extremist elements within both sides. So you've got far left in Labor and far right within the Liberal Party, and then of course you've got your surrounding parties like the Greens, who are really the far left, and then you've got the Christian parties and One Nation, who are far right, and
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You're absolutely correct. I'm sorry. I've tried to interrupt you several times. I didn't mean to do that.
That's okay.
But, no, but it's so upsetting because that is exactly the problem. Yeah. Republicans and conservatives in this country tend to only watch conservative media. And liberals tend to watch liberal media. And the problem there is that you end up with this vitriolic rhetoric. You know, Fox News is a propaganda machine, and it was set up as such. And this is common knowledge. You can look it up. They are not an actual bipartisan news, freedom of the press type of organization. They were set up to prop up the conservative Republican, largely Christian dominionist, ideals, right?
Yeah.
And so you get people who only watch Fox News, and they're told things like Barack Obama is a communist. He never was. He's absolutely not. I mean, not in any way. He's not even a socialist. Like, not, but they don't understand the difference. No, and it's just thrown into, and I mean, I've had more than one member of my own family tell me that I have too much education because I disagree with them about this kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, I read books. Maybe you should too.
Yeah.
It's Jesus Christ. Anyway, sorry to bring that up.
Well, it's also weird how parties change over time, because like the Republican Party used to be the left-wing party in the US.
I know.
And that's the weirdest thing to think about. And in Australia, I mean, our right-wing party is the Liberal Party, which makes no sense from the point of view of a Liberal Party should be left-wing, but no. But the point was...
I'm trying to be careful how I put that now.
Yeah, but the point was, in Australian politics, you had... The Labor Party came later. The Liberal... No, sorry. The Labor Party... I can't remember which way around it was. Basically, you've got your Labor Party and Liberal Party, your two main ones. Labor was a lot more left in the past than what it is now. And the Liberal Party basically sat where the Labor Party is now. So they were left of centre. They started out as a left of centre party and became more conservative as they went on because of the elements that slowly built up the party. So it was a change in things. So calling themselves a Liberal Party to start off with was quite accurate because they were more left. It's just that they were being compared to a Labour Party that was incredibly left, almost to the point of being called a socialist party, and which almost goes on to being called communist when it came down to the Reds in the bed sort of era. So,
so frustrating.
Yeah, because socialism is not communism, you morons.
Thank you. And the thing is, you're never gonna get the candidate that who believes exactly the way you do.
No.
You know, and I think that's something that...
Well, unless you're going to stand yourself.
That Americans have a really hard... Like, I was genuinely shocked because Junk Shop and I went to the polls to vote for, in the primaries. And I'm not going to say how they voted, although I know, but it's their story to tell, not mine. But I voted for Elizabeth Warren because she had excellent step-by-step plans for everything that's gone wrong, and she was an amazing candidate. She came in third in our state.
She was too left. She came in
third. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if it was just the vagina thing, because she came in, there was Biden, and then the fucking billionaire who came in way late. Huh?
Yeah, not Bernie. No, it wasn't. It was
no. Bernie didn't even come in. Bernie came in no, I'm sorry. She came in fourth, and then so it was the billionaire dude.
Yeah.
Why the fuck? I don't know. And then Bernie, and this is just in Tennessee, and then
Warren.
Elizabeth, and I was like, what? Okay. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It's getting late for you guys, so maybe we should wind up.
We can't. I'm sorry. I could talk about this way too long.
I know, but we've been going 2 hours and nearly. Yeah. And I'm thinking maybe we should wind up and give you guys a chance to shout out. I want to say, before we go, a big thank you to Jenny Morgan, to Godless Granny, and to Aunt Jer for joining us. They had to jump out early, obviously. Please go and check out Godless Granny's new content that's coming out. I think in about 14 hours is her video, and then she's got her debate on Sunday. It's on Conspiracy Cats and Cricky Blunder's debate channel. So I'm sure she'll post it on Twitter, but yeah, it should be a really good debate. I don't I don't think it's really something that should be handled in a debate platform, but she was asked, and the person she's debating will be it isn't one of these anti-trans people. They're just anti-trans in sport. So So they only take the sport platform, and it's a fear. It's a fear of people getting hurt. I think that is the biggest fear that most people have with trans women in sport. Oh, if it's a contact sport, women are going to get hurt. Have you met most trans people? Most of us are about the same size as every other woman out there, and we're not stronger than any of you. And the fact of the matter is, we get hurt.
I very respectfully disagree. In what I've heard with trans women in sport is actually very transphobic. Yeah. And it seems to be that a lot of folks who don't understand and are not educated on what it is to be a trans person.
Oh, exactly.
They essentially think that it's men dressing like women coming in to play women's sports.
To try and get accolades.
And they're going to dominate and win because men are bigger and better and
yet the statistics show that's not true. Because if it was true...
No, I know it's not true. It's bullshit.
It's absolute bullshit.
But I'm just saying that's what people are... That's how I'm hearing it.
Yeah. Most of the people who do intellectual arguments try to argue from the... do you have a personal advantage because of what you went through that means you shouldn't compete in the same way as people who took steroids? Except that trans people didn't take steroids. We had no choice over what we went through. And that's the difference. So how is that any different to somebody who's intersex, who has extra hormones or whatever? We have rules to allow
someone who has that gene where they just naturally make more muscle than most people.
I mean, it comes back to that concept. Most people who argue against comes back to the concept that they think being trans is a choice.
Yeah, it's not.
And it's not.
That's ridiculous.
And that's why inclusion is where you start from. But I mean, let's not. This is going to be a big discussion later, so let's not. We already did this.
No, we'll table it. And I also want to apologize. I'm sorry to Granny. I did get on a political rant, and that was not my intention. I'm sorry.
I didn't help.
I'm very scattered, and it's just kind of all consuming right now. But it wasn't fair to everyone else who was here.
In all honesty, I'm Australian, and I care about it too, because what happens in the US does affect the rest of the world.
I know. God damn it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's all right. It's not your fault. It's not your fault that your country's stupid and keeps voting for an orange-haired idiot.
Oh my God.
So
many of my own family members.
My concern from this is that what the Republicans are going to take from this is putting someone controversial up for the White House is a good tactic. So even when Trump's gone, they're going to be looking for the next Trump.
Yep.
And
because now the bar is so low.
Yeah.
It's so low. Okay.
I mean, Mike Pence is obviously going to get the ticket at some point, and I mean, he's 10 times worse than Trump knows how to be. So I mean, it's a scary future for you guys. This kind of rhetoric politics, which is disingenuous and destructive towards the country itself, needs to stop. Not just in America, but everywhere.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because if we can't even decide how to speak to each other, then, what else? I mean, everything else falls by the wayside. Like I do remember a time of civil discourse in my country. It did happen. I was there. It was a thing where you could, I've had significant others who were Republicans, and it wasn't a deal breaker.
Civil rights and human rights need to stop being political talking points.
Thank you.
Stop using people's struggles and difficulties and using marginalized people as a way to get fucking votes.
Well, actually, I would say I want to agree with you, except that they are marginalized and they're not treated the same.
No, but stop using them. You stop using them as your way of getting votes. Is my point.
No.
Support these people. Support them in the politics so that you're actually getting improvements for people. This should be a bipartisan thing. This shouldn't be a apolitical thing. It should be a bipartisan thing.
No, that I completely agree with. Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
that was where I was going with that.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't
there's
either.
a very
But
fine line between there's a very fine line between tokenism and helping someone.
Exactly.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Is.
I mean, both sides do it. You can be pro a group, and it becomes
still
tokenism, and you can be anti these changes, and then you're doing. Both sides can be doing damage. Whereas if you take it as a bipartisan approach to betterment for all people, then you end up with getting a better society out of it. And then you stop having stupid arguments about universal health care and protections for people and crap like that, because they shouldn't be hot button political issues. They should just be human rights.
Yeah, they should just be obvious.
Exactly.
Why? Why don't we have national health care? That's insane. Okay, all right. Yeah. Well, we should stop here because I could go off on a whole tear.
What have you two got coming up?
I have. Okay. Assuming, again, we haven't heard back from the person at the rental office, but assuming everything is cool for Tuesday, Wine and Reason will happen Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central U.S. Standards and Time. And my friend Kim and I will be talking about the new Supreme Court justices, or damn it, I'm already giving it to her, but we've never, in my lifetime, I've never watched confirmation hearings for a Supreme Court justice who was not confirmed. So anyway, we'll be talking about that. And
gosh, she was hopeless. I'm sorry, I've gone back to politics.
No, it is. It's horrible. It is. It spells the end of Roe v. Wade.
She didn't even understand what the First Amendment meant. How can that person be a high court judge if you don't understand your constitution?
Well, here's the thing. She taught law, and I've been a teacher, and I want to. But there were so many times when knowledge changes. This is like in science. We learn more, we get more data, and then we realize we were wrong. I taught for 14 years, and over that time, I taught incorrect information because, for whatever reason. And I didn't do it all the time, and I tried not to, but it still definitely happened. It's one of the reasons I quit teaching. It's one of the reasons I became disheartened with it, because
it's also one of the reasons why I like being wrong, because when I'm wrong, I learn something.
Exactly. Yeah, precisely. So, but
doesn't mean I want to be wrong all the time, though.
No, of course not. No, I don't either. Anyway, it's a long story, but yeah, it's just a similar allegory. So she's only sat as a circuit judge for 3 years. And I'm sorry, I worked retail longer than she was a...
Yeah, she's not qualified for this position.
No, not in the least.
The qualification Trump's looking at is the fact that she's so right-wing that she's basically burnt her left off.
She's not, and this is the thing they keep bringing up in the hearings, and I just want to make this very clear. If y'all don't know this, they keep bringing up the fact that, people are saying you're Catholic and that's bad. Well, hello, 74% of the Supreme Court of the U.S. is Catholic right now. Okay, the other percent, the rest of it, they're Jewish, and that's fine. But she's not just Roman Catholic. She is part of a Catholic sect that Rome does not agree with. That Rome is like, that's too conservative for us. You're too weird. Stop it. And that was under not only the current Pope, who is much more liberal, Pope Francis. That was under that was under Ratzinger as well. Like Hitler Youth Pope, if y'all remember him. Yeah. So he condemned that particular sect, and this is not mainstream Roman Catholicism. And I grew up in Roman Catholicism. You all know this, but this is not mainstream stuff. She is part of a weird, very, very intense Catholic
it's a cult. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, part of me wants to call all of Catholicism a cult, but hers is particularly special in that way. So I just want to be very clear that
in terms of getting out of the cult, Catholicism isn't necessarily as bad as a lot of things that you call a cult. So
no, it could be worse. Certainly, it has been worse.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, at least we don't have the Inquisition by
I'm
that
sure
name.
there's areas where they'd love to do that still, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I have no doubt.
Anyway,
So,
Lone Wanderer, what have you got coming up, hon?
Just the usual Word of the Day series. The Crimes of the Religious is on hiatus for a while.
So good.
Just because it's the holiday season, I don't want to bring anyone down. Yeah, it is. I'm really enjoying it, but just being, the holiday season coming up, I don't want to bring anyone down, So that'll be back next year. And I'm working on some other ideas, throwing some ideas around. I haven't got anything concrete yet, but still, Word of the Day every day at 12.
Awesome.
That's 12 noon Central.
That's why. That's another reason why I wanted you to hop on today, because I knew you'd love this. Talking words and language. You and Julie.
I know.
It's your shtick.
I'm sorry. Can I say one more thing? I forgot about. Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
For my lovely patrons, including the Lone Wanderer, I have to skip evenings with patrons, which would have normally been tonight, and also obviously it didn't happen, and also brunch with patrons this Sunday. I can't do it. We have to finish packing and get everything moved. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's understandable.
After that, thank you, but and thank you, Lone Wanderer. But after that, we'll be back as soon as we get the internet hookup and everything changed over. And if there's going to be any weirdness with that, we'll film something on our phones just to let y'all know.
Upload it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for being here. It's been awesome fun. I know we've diverged an awful lot during this one, but I enjoy the divergences. It's always a bit of fun to diverge a bit. And we had a big panel, so that was always going to happen. But yeah, thank you all very much. Thank you to everyone who's been in the chat, who is still in the chat. I'm sorry I haven't mentioned you guys terribly much. I've been finding it hard to concentrate this morning between the various different things that have been going on. That's mostly because I've still got a head cold. But yeah, once I'm over the head cold, I have a video, a naked sex video planned to come out. That'll come out hopefully once this is lifted. So hopefully by the end of the weekend, sort of thing. I may do another stream Sunday morning my time, so Saturday evening. It'll probably be either a stump. No, it's a Jen's rant. A rant. No, I'm doing a rant tonight with Ed. So it'll probably be a stump Jen, where people get to ask me sciencey things and see if I actually know what I'm talking about.
Cool. There you go.
And yeah, aside from that, everyone have a lovely evening. Try and get some good sleep. Enjoy the rest of your alcohol there, Julie. And thank you, Lone Wanderer and Julie, and everybody else who's joined us. It's been awesome. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.